Hello. There's some seagulls out there in the middle of the road. They've got twigs. Oh, that one's just flown away. They've got twigs in their beaks. They're planning something. I can't think what, but they're planning something. Probably they think they're twiglets. Oh, food on the brain. Okay, so welcome to the fourth vlog, possibly the fifth vlog. I don't know. I always say that. I think I'm going to stop saying that. And this is the fourth vlog. #4, vlog 4. So today the theme is #1 theme in the world, food. I'm drinking a coffee. I'm not eating anything at the moment. Drinking a coffee. Her ladyship. It's actually Stella's mug. Hello, Stella. And I have to hold it with my left hand because it's left hand pattern out, so to show you. But actually I'm better like this with my right hand because I'm not one of the special cool people who are left-handed. I'm just boring and normal. Yeah, nobody's normal. That's another rant for another day. So it's just coffee, skimmed milk. It's perfectly fine. So the theme is food, and I'm going to now segue into my cooking video, which is slightly better than the last one, I think, in some ways. I filmed quite a lot, and I've yet to edit it down, but it will be edited when it comes to you now. And it's me cooking a lentil and vegetable, slightly pilau rice type of dish that I like to do with roast sweet potatoes on top. And I'm cooking it in my mother's house because the kitchen is, I think, 8 times bigger than the kitchen in my flat. One day I will have a kitchen that's somewhere in between the massive kitchen and the teeny tiny kitchen where, yeah, the first time I was in my kitchen in here, I bent down to look into the oven and I switched the washing machine off at the same time. And partially that's the size of the kitchen, partially it's the size of my bum, but it is a very small kitchen. Okay, here's the ingredients of sweet potato, lentils, basmati rice, curry powder, onion, stock cube, oil. And I need one other item, go across the big kitchen. And here it is, it's just some garlic puree. A little bit of oil, that looks like quite a lot. And it's time to cut up the onion. Show my knife skills, which I think have gone downhill quite a lot. Chopping it up. This is speeded up, I think. And notice what I've done there. I've thrown the stock cube away in all the scraps. What an idiot. And I have not realised I've done that, which is quite funny. And the onions are on and the garlic's ready. And I'm looking for the stock cube. Where on earth can it be? Can't find it. Get another one out of the cupboard. There it is. Completely oblivious. I only realised after. Picking something weird out of the rice. I don't know what that was. Grab a teaspoon. That's the curry powder. A bit of garlic. Whack it in the pan. Very simple. Can you smell those onions? Delicious. Frying away and add a bit of curry powder. Clear up as you go, clear as you go, in the bin. Get the kettle on, stir, add the lentils, and the rice goes in. Stir it about. Double quantity of rice, of water, and I would suggest that you should try putting it in like that. And look, it's ready. Gosh, that was quick. The wonders of editing. And I'm serving it up with the roast sweet potatoes on, which I cooked on a tray, far too big. Second portion in a tub for the freezer. And there it is, to have ready to go. With more space for my stuff and my new stuff that's come from the house recently. I am going to talk about food, but what I was going to say was, after the slightly challenging trip back with all my stuff with the man in a van and his sidekick who is a woman. The 7.5 hours it took us to get to Morecambe as opposed to about 3. I'll look back and laugh. I always look back. I always laugh at the time, actually. The look back and laugh thing is daft because I always laugh at the time. Basically, these two people came into my flat with all the stuff after that really long, tiring day of sitting on the motorway, hardly getting anywhere. And one of them said, oh, you've got a really nice place. And the other one said, it's really quirky. And the squeeze singles on the landing were observed. The Blackadder picture, which is in the bedroom, were also noted. And I felt really proud because to me, it was looking a bit dusty and untidy, and it's now even more full of stuff. For example, there's the doll's house behind me, and there's the oak chest from the hall, the very empty hall at my parents' house. But I wanted to keep that carved oak chest. So I'm back on the subject I came here to talk about, which is food. The big news this week, which is something I'd sort of been thinking about, but on Monday, you know, you go online and you have a look, and this is how I've started a lot of things. The next thing you know, you kind of committed yourself. So I was sort of interested in the Noom app that you hear about a lot. There's quite a few of these things, and I know Noom seems to have a reputation in the reviews of taking money off you that you weren't expecting and renewing the subscriptions when they shouldn't have been renewed. But I've got my eye on that. So I had a little look Monday morning and I thought, okay, I'm doing this. And the next thing I know, I've signed up for 8 months because they take down your particulars, and got all your information, and they tell you you can lose X amount of weight in this time. 8 months, told me how much it was. I accept how much it is. It's partially I'm doing it because I need a massive kick up the bum, because you know, this is the person who lost 100 pounds from late 15 going into 2020, and then the shit hit the fan. I think I can use that expression. Obviously, we all suffered a pandemic, and you know, as I always call it, the stuff going on in my family, and it's hard. And I've vlogged about this before, which was my first vlog that I didn't really count as my first vlog because a long amount of time happened. But things had been happening in the background, and me trying to get a grip of myself, because I basically lost 100 pounds and then sort of slowly but surely put it all back on again. And I never thought that would happen, but obviously it did. So, and I don't know for sure. Scales tell me I did put it all on and a bit more. Clothes tell me no, I didn't quite put it all back on. But I'm on the new scales, and to trick myself into not having to lose the same amount of weight over again, and this isn't really working, but I'm telling myself it is. I've gone over to kilograms. I'm kilos. I'm weighing in kilos and not in pounds or stones and pounds. You can easily Google to decide which sounds like the most. You know, oh, I haven't got much to lose. It's kilos. Yeah, a kilo is 2.2 something pounds. So it's a anyway. So Noom want you to weigh every day. I'm not sure about that, but I'm not here every day. And the scales in my mum's house have long gone to Michelle's daughters, so I don't have to worry about that. But I've realised the way of tricking it. They tell you don't have to weigh every day. They recommend you to. You have to cope with the fluctuations and it getting a bit obsessed. But you're already doing that anyway because you're calorie counting. But it's quite flexible in its approach, and it's all about a lot of what you hear Noom does is the psychology. And I actually am interested in how it all works. And that was Monday. Today is Sunday. And I did well until yesterday. evening when I knew I was so hungry I would not be able to sleep. So I did cheat a bit. And as you can earn a treat day after a week, and I have earned a treat day already somehow by whatever I've done. It's to encourage you. And a treat day and a cheat day, as we sometimes hear it called, probably not supposed to be a thing, but I'm wondering whether to. I've actually booked my one treat day ever, and I'm going to experiment with just a bit of planned extra. But the calorie counting app, it's not perfect, but it's actually better than the one I tried out before, which was the NHS one, which is obviously free, as it should be. But it has more things on it. I've been able to find more food products, and apparently it's been made less American and included more of the foods we have in this country. But anything I can't find, I've fudged it. And I don't mean I've ate fudge, because I don't like fudge. Fudge will be on there, all kinds of fudge. But yeah, I fudged it. And I like the fact that I'm tracking everything. And yes, there is going to be a bit of obsession, but I need to do this now to have that kick up the bum and to reset everything and start again. And counting calories is a bit shit, but it is worth it. And when I was losing weight before, most weeks I could maybe just about lose a pound. I've lost way more than that in the past week in kilos, especially because the weight I put in was from 2 weeks ago when I stood on the scales, which I assumed is what I was, but I had already lost a kilo. I started a couple of weeks ago, decided to give up Diet Coke again, which is what I did in 2015. I've stopped that. I'm buying soda water. I'm having lime and soda. Lime cordial is sugar, but I think it's a better drink than having Coke, especially because of the caffeine, and especially because recently they're saying that the sweetener in Coke is cancer causing, but then they don't know how much Coke, because some people drink more than I could ever. When I was being successful, losing my £100 or however much it was, a little bit more I think, I would just buy a single can and drink it. And then food deliveries, I have a pack of 12, and then if it's in, you'll drink it. So, but anyway, I've stopped. The other thing I had, because I had mentioned it in my first vlog -1, or vlog naught as I'll call it, is the M&S train feasts, binges. M&S train feasts, pretty much stopped that. I'm all about packing food in my little cool bag, and I've bought some silicone Ziploc bags, reusable, washable, and I can actually slice up an apple and put it in the bag and seal it up, and it stays fresh and doesn't go brown, which is good. So I'll be having a lot of little train snacks made like that, and not the M&S feasts. I think the M&S feast, it's going to have to be a special day if I go back to that, a very special day, celebratory day. Maybe when I reach my target, because talking of target, I mean, I've got a target which Noom have given me, and it's higher than the sort of what I was thinking might be a good interim target, but I've only got 8 months to do it in, and I'm losing, I think it's 30 something kilos. I won't say much it is in pounds. That's probably too difficult for me unless I can stick to proper calorie counting, because I didn't before. The majority of the time I was still eating too much, but I did a lot of swimming and cycling and Zumba, and I was so active, and being active, and doing exercise made me do more. And what I've gone back to now is pacing myself throughout the day. There's only so much I can do today because I haven't got enough energy. I've gone back to that, and it's partly psychological, because if you push yourself, you can do all kinds of things. So I want that back. I want that. It's the two words, confidence and energy. And Noom have, talking of the psychology part of it, they ask you a question and then they ask you it again, and they're asking you, but why? And that was, I actually stopped and said to the screen, that is so clever, because they're trying to find out why you want to do it. And it was really clever. And I think if it was either a counsellor or a psychologist or whatever, I don't know, or a friend asked you that and insisted on the proper answer and the full answer and the deeper answer, they would have, I can imagine it being like that, but it's actually an app asking you questions. So some of it, on the other hand, some of it is a bit silly and makes me cringe, and some of it I don't really agree with, but you take the rough with the smooth. I'm not going to complain about anything, because what you've got is something that'll keep you going, something you can use to track your weight, your exercise. Talking of exercise, whatever exercise you do, you can log in and they give you half the calories burnt back into your allowance, which is clearly, it's talking of psychology, it's to encourage you to do more, and having half of it put back means that the other half is going to do some good. But obviously exercise is good anyway, and all I've done so far is a couple of sessions on the stationary bike. That's Ken's in the bedroom, and squashed in with all kinds of other stuff, facing out the window so I can cycle because there's been so much rain recently. I'm afraid Brenda hasn't been allowed out of the shed. I probably should do that at some stage while I'm here, going back Wednesday. It's Sunday today, but tomorrow, of course, is after my first week of Noom and not weighing myself every day. But I realise the best thing to do is to accept that they want you to and put in the same amount as the day before, which obviously I have to do when I'm in Coventry, which I did Thursday and Friday morning. And then I've chosen not to weigh today because there was a little bit extra yesterday. And then tomorrow it'll be a week. And but I think it's a surprising amount of kilos and a ridiculous amount of kilos. But I ate a lot less this past week than I would normally do. Normally, whatever normally is, I had previously. So that's good. It's a good start. The calorie allowance they give you is obviously based on your height and weight and age and etc. But it popped up initially 1,500, and I went, because I literally cannot survive on that. I need 2,000 at the very, very least. Otherwise, I just can't do it. I could, at the end of the day, I'm so hungry I can't sleep. And I'm not playing that game. I have done in the past, some years ago, but no, because you need your sleep. I have a ridiculously large amount of clothes, and I just bought this because it was on Yours Yours Clothing website. It's $19.99, and I thought I really like that. I'm going to get it. It's long. It's like a duster coat, loose over shirt type, kimono type thing, sleeves like that, but I can't wear it if I'm ever visiting my mother, because she will say, oh, is that new? She did that over a top I was wearing the other day, and she said, oh, is that new? And I said, I bought it in 2016 for £8 from Sainsbury's. I'm not spending money on clothes I don't have, and I'm not buying expensive clothes, but still my mum the disapproval.